Hi everyone, Liz here, and today I have a fun tutorial for you. I'm going to make this cute little crocheted cardigan with a button front from start to finish using our Premier Yarns Anti-Pilling Everyday DK. And at the end, we'll make some cute little dragonfly applique that you can add to your cardigan. I'll be making the size 2T in the video, but you can click down below and download the free pattern for the rest of the sizes. Now let's get started.
Okay, so let's start on this cute little cardigan, and I'm using the Anti-Pilling Everyday DK yarn to do the majority of the cardigan, and then we're going to do the appliques in a different yarn. I am starting with the back panel. I'm going to start the bottom part, which is going to be the hem, with my smaller hook because I want that kind of cinched in a little bit, and then we'll move on to the larger hook when we do the main section of the back panel. Okay, and I like to start my hem with foundation stitches. I usually start when I do garments with foundation stitches. I just like how they make a nice, neat, clean edge, and you don't have to worry about making a chain. So we want to start with half double crochets. So we're going to do a row of foundation half double crochets to start the hem of the back panel. Again, I've got my smaller hook here, and I just want to begin with a chain of 2. So 1 and 2. And now I want to work into those back bumps. So if I rotate here, you can see there's a back bump and a back bump. I just want to start with a yarn over, insert my hook under that back bump. Okay, now you can see we have 3 loops on the hook. I want to yarn over, pull through that first loop, and then I want to yarn over again and pull through only that first loop once again, and that creates a chain for my foundation row. Okay, so instead of working a foundation chain with just chains, we kind of work the chains into the row 1 of the half double crochets. And now I have 3 loops on the hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through all 3 of those loops, and that is going to create 1 half double crochet. Now let's do that again. The next one is going to be worked into the chain that we created. So yarn over again, insert my hook underneath both those loops of the chain that we created, yarn over, pull through. Now we have to make another chain so we can work the next one into it. So yarn over, pull through only that very first loop to create a chain. There's my chain right there. And then yarn over, pull through all 3 remaining loops on the hook to finish the half double crochet. Let's do that one more time. So yarn over, insert underneath both of those loops of the chain that we made, yarn over, pull through. And then I'm going to yarn over and pull through that very first loop on the hook to create another chain. There it is. 3 loops remaining on the hook, yarn over, pull through those 3 remaining loops. Now if you turn it like this, you can see we have worked 3 half double crochets. So you look at it from the top, there's 1, 2, and 3. So we're just going to continue that with the required number of foundation half double crochet. So we're going to start with a chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, and that's just going to count as the first double crochet of the row. Yarn over, insert from front to back around the post of that half double crochet, and then yarn over again, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Okay, so there's just going to be a front post double crochet, and now around the next half double crochet, I want to work a back post double crochet. So yarn over again, and now I'm going to insert my hook from the back to the front around the post, yarn over, pull through. Now that I have 3 loops on the hook again, yarn over, pull through 2, and yarn over, pull through 2. Okay, so the next half double crochet, we're going to do that front post double crochet again. So a front post double crochet around the next half double crochet, and then another back post double crochet around the next half double crochet. Continue working those 2 stitches, alternating front post and back post double crochets until I get to the last stitch of the row. And on the last stitch, I'm going to make just a regular double crochet. So we're going to begin with a double crochet and end with a double crochet. Okay, now I just want to repeat that row. So I'm going to chain up 3 for my first double crochet. And now I'm going to work a front post double crochet again. So now I'm working, rather than working around the half double crochet, I'm working that front post double crochet around the post stitch from the previous row. Okay, so front post double crochet, and now the next one, back post double crochet. So come in from the back to the front and around that post. And now a front post double crochet again, and a back post double crochet again. Okay, and then I'm just going to repeat that all the way across. Again, once I get to that very last stitch of the row, the double crochet, I will work a double crochet in that double crochet. Unless the pattern tells you otherwise, you might end with 2 double crochets if you have an even number of stitches, but that will be just dependent on the size, and you can check the written pattern for that. Okay, so we're going to repeat that all the way across and then move on to the next section. Great, so we finished those 2 rows and we just have a nice little hem here. I'm going to move on to my larger hook and work the main section. This part is really easy. You're just going to work half double crochet rows. So we're going to begin with a chain of 1, turn our work, and then put a half double crochet in that very first stitch, so that chain one's not counting as anything. Just going to do a half double crochet, so that's our first one. And now into that next post stitch from the previous row, another half double crochet, and then into the next post stitch, another half double crochet. So you should have the same number of stitches that you did for the post stitch hem section, but now we will just be working half double crochet in each stitch across. When you get to the end of the row, you will turn your work, chain 1 again, and half double crochet in each stitch across. And then you're just going to repeat those even half double crochet rows until you reach the length that the pattern tells you. And then I will meet you right back here to move on to the next section.
I started my front panel the same way I started the back with the hem section, and then I just worked even in half double crochet. Remember, you do the hem with a smaller hook, then change to your larger hook and continue working even until you get to the required rows that the pattern calls for your size. And then we're going to do just a little bit of neck shaping. Okay, so I'll begin with some slip stitches. Okay, so I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 for this size, and just double check your pattern for your size. Okay, and now I'm just going to do a chain of 1 and a half double crochet right there. Okay, and that's the first half double crochet. And now we'll just work another decrease. So I'm going to do a half double crochet, 2 stitches together, and then just continue working half double crochet stitches to the end of the row. Okay, so now that I've completed the row, I want this next section to decrease a little further. So I'm going to begin the row with half double crochets across. So we're not doing any decreasing here. So we won't be doing any decreases at the beginning of this row because we did them at the beginning of the previous row. So for this row, we will decrease at the end of the row. Okay, so I'm just going to work a half double crochet across until I get to the last 3 half double crochet of the row. Okay, so now I'm down to 1, 2, and 3 half double crochets. So I want to do that decrease right here with the half double crochet 2 together, and then half double crochet in the last half double crochet. So I decrease by 1 stitch. And now we're going to do, for this size, I'm going to do 1 more decrease at the beginning of the row. So half double crochet, and then a half double crochet 2 together, and then half double crochet in each remaining stitch across. And this is how I did the decreasing rows for this size, which is the size 2-year-old or 2T. But you are just going to, of course, check the pattern for the size that you are making, because you may have more or fewer decrease rows. Okay. Okay, and now that I've done the decreasing, it's just a little slight decrease here for the neck. I'm going to work a few more rows even in half double crochet with no more decreases, and that is going to look just like this. Okay, so once I've completed those even rows, I'll have the same number of rows for the front panel that I do for the back panel. And I'm going to work this second side exactly as I did the first one. We're just simply going to go like this, and then you'll have one side and the other side, so the right panel and the left panel. So now let's just complete these rows for my left side panel, and then we will move on to the sleeve. Okay, so now we're moving on to the sleeve, and this is very basic, just like the rest of the pattern. We started off with the ribbing section, which in this case is going to be cuff, but it's worked exactly as we did the hem for the back piece and the front pieces. And the pattern is going to tell you based on your size at what intervals you're going to work your increases. So I'm going to chain 1 because this very first row of half double crochet will be my increase row. Okay, and I'm going to work a half double crochet into the first stitch and then 2 half double crochets into the next. So that will be my increase, 2 half double crochets in that stitch, and then half double crochet across until we get to the last 2 stitches. And once I've reached the last 2 stitches, I'll do another increase in the second to last stitch. So 2 half double crochets in the same stitch, and then half double crochet in the very last stitch of the row. Okay, so that will be my first increase row. We're going to increase at the beginning and the end of the row. And then the pattern will tell me to work a certain number of rows even in half double crochet. So of course that just means 1 half double crochet in each half double crochet across. So it will tell you depending on your size. So work the increase row and then work 2, 3, whatever it is, half double crochet rows, and then repeat those rows a certain number of times. So it'll say repeat the increase row followed by the even rows a certain number of times. So you'll just work that set of instructions until you have worked all of the increases, and make sure to check your stitch count at the end of the last row. And then once you've worked all your increases, so the pattern says work this number of increase rows at this interval, and once that section is completed, you will just work even in half double crochet until your sleeve measures what the pattern tells you from the bottom of the cuff to the top of the upper arm. Okay, and that's it for the sleeve. So we're going to make 2 of these, and then I'll meet you back to put it all together and make the button band. Thread that on my needle, and I'm going to start, we want to match up the stitches, of course. So I'm going to start at the outside because that'll be easier for me to match them up. And I'm just going to work in those just in one loop of the stitch. Okay, so these sort of outer loops, and go through the front panel, which is the one closest to me, and then I'm going to go through the back panel, and I'm just going through one loop. You can go through both if you prefer. I just feel like the one loop gives it a nice clean edge. And I'm going to come back down, so move over 1 stitch when I come back down into the same loop and into the next stitch of the front panel. Okay, now I'm going to go upward in the next stitch of the front panel, and then the next stitch of the back panel, and then back down in the next stitch over, just like so. So I'm kind of like a zigzag. Okay, and now once I have done my mattress seam or my mattress stitch seam across, I'm just going to weave in this end here. So just find a few loops here and there, kind of zigzag around, just so you don't lose that tail and everything stays in place nicely. Go through a few stitches. I probably go through more than is needed, but I like to make sure nothing comes apart, and nothing usually does from anything I've made. So this weaving in your ends routine works pretty good. So then I'm going to take my other little tail end. I left it kind of short. It'd be easier if you left it slightly longer so you can manage it better. But this should be just enough to weave in a few stitches here, zigzag it around a bit. Okay, and that's not going anywhere. And then we're just going to cut those little tails. Now I have a nice clean finish on both sides. And this is going to be my right side. Okay, I'm seaming on the right side. I'm going to seam in my sleeves to the side edge. So I'm going to keep this layout how I have it right here. And I'll use this shoulder seam as my sort of marker placement. And I'm going to take my sleeve, fold it in half, nice and evenly. And then that half right there, we can mark it with a stitch marker. Let's see what I have here for stitch markers. Okay, so you can either fold it or you can count your center stitch, but there's my center stitch right there. And you don't really even have to mark it if you don't want to, but give it a little marker. And then all I need to do is line that marker up with my seam. Okay, so make sure that marker is lined on the seam. You can even pin it together. You can use, you know, like T-pins or whatever to pin everything in place so nothing gets kind of moved around or shifted while you're working. And now I have these, just one little loop of a stitch, and I'm going to use those to seam onto the side here. Okay, so we'll have the front of the sleeve and the back of the sleeve. And here I'm working into row ends, so I won't be able to work into a loop of a stitch like I did here because I was doing stitch to stitch. Now I'm doing stitch to row end. But as you can see, there are still sort of loops that present themselves for you to work into, and it's just going to be kind of like, it doesn't have to be a specific loop or whatever. You just want to make sure everything is evenly placed. Okay, so again, we're going to take a little bit of a longer piece of yarn here, and now that I'm lined up all the way across, just like I did here. Okay, so I'm going to go in this loop, and then I'm going to come in to a loop on the row end of the front piece. And now I'm going to come this way into the next loop on the sleeve. And I'm going to come this way into the next loop. Or once you've gone all the way to the end, and then do the same thing on the other sleeve, you're going to fold it like this. Pretend your sleeve is seamed here. And then you're going to start down here, and you're going to do the same mattress stitch across here and then across here. Okay, and that will seam everything together. And then I'm going to do that now, and I'll meet you back here. We are going to put the button band on this little cardigan once we've got it all seamed up. Okay, so I'm going to start back up with my smaller hook here, and I'm going to join my yarn with a slip stitch in the lower right corner. Okay, so this is the right side when the cardigan will be worn. And so chain one and half double crochet. And I want to work 46 total from here to where the neck shaping starts. So I'm going to have my little marker here, so I should be at about 23 right there in the center, right? So I'm just going to count until I get to 23, and hopefully that will be where I marked off, just so I know I'm on the right track with my stitches. And of course 46 is for this size, but you're going to check your which size you're making to make sure you work the correct number of half double crochet. Okay, so right here I'm at 22. Here's my marked stitch. So I only have one more stitch to work to get to, you know, where I'm in good shape. And that does look nice and even. So those are nice and evenly spaced. But right here, I feel like I want to work 2 more stitches, but I only have enough room for 1. So sometimes I'll just make a 2 stitch together because I don't want to have like a big space. So if I just put like 1 half double crochet here, I feel like, see, there's too much space between those two. So rather than just ripping it all back, sometimes I'll do just a little simple half double crochet 2 together or single crochet 2 together. That way I only have 1 stitch, but that looks a little bit more evenly spaced. Okay, so you can do little things like that if you don't feel like ripping it all back. Now let's say I worked and I was like, I'm at you know, all the way up here, and I only have like 15 or 14 or something like that. Then I would pull those back and then try to get them a little closer together. Okay, so just make sure you're counting as you do this. Okay, perfect. So I did 46 half double crochet from the bottom of the right side up to just where the neck shaping begins here. So I'm just going to work some stitches into the slip stitches here, and then I'm going to evenly space some more half double crochet along this section. And then I'm going to work 1 half double crochet into each half double crochet at the neck opening, back neck. And then again, just a few evenly spaced here,
one in each of these slip stitches. And then once I get back down here, I want to do the same thing. I want to make sure I have, because I split it in half, 23 and 23. So I want to make sure I have 46 across this edge, okay? Okay, so now here I am at the bottom of the left, and for the next row, I just want to work in that post-stitch ribbing pattern that we worked the hem and the cuffs in, okay? So we're going to do that first double crochet, turn your work, and then just work a front post around the next half double crochet and a back post around the next half double crochet. Front post and back post, and then you're just going to repeat that all the way across that whole row of half double crochets that we did, okay? So all the way up the left side along the shaping, the neck, and then back down, and you're going to end the row at the bottom of the right side, okay? Just work that post stitch pattern, and then we will move on to the buttonhole row. Now we're going to create the buttonholes. And this is why we had to make sure we had the right count here so we can space these buttonholes out evenly. And I'm going to continue working in that post stitch ribbing pattern. And remember, we're just going to do back posts around the back post and front post around the front post. Okay, so if your row starts with a front post, do a front post. If it starts with a back, do a back. Okay, it might be different depending on the number of stitches you needed. So 1, 2, 3 double crochet. That's my first stitch. And now here's a back post. I'm going to do a back post and then a front post, a back post, and a front post. So my pattern tells me to work in the post ribbing pattern over the next 6 stitches. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and one more makes 6 stitches. And then I'm going to do a buttonhole. So that's going to be 1, 2, just 2 chains there. And then we're going to skip 2 stitches. So skip this one and this one, a front post and a back post, and then continue in pattern over the next 6 stitches. So we're going to skip 2 for the buttonhole, and then I'm going to work 6 more. So I have a front post, so I'm going to do a front post. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. So now I want to do chain of 2 for the next buttonhole. Skip a stitch and skip a stitch. So chain 2, skip 2, and then work 6 more in the ribbing pattern. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So I did the chain 2, 6 stitches once, chain 2, 6 stitches twice, chain 2, 6 stitches 3 times. So I'm going to do that one more time. Chain 2, skip 2, okay, so I did the chain 2, skip 2, work in pattern over 6 stitches. My pattern tells me to do that a total of 4 times. Okay, so the pattern says chain 2, skip 2, and then continue in the post stitch ribbing pattern all the way to the end, okay? So now all I have to do is continue to work, no more buttonholes, in post stitch ribbing. So that's, remember, just front post in the front post, back post in the back post. We're just going to do that all the way down across to here. And then the very last row is going to be post stitch ribbing across again. So we're going to go up one more time in post stitch ribbing all the way across until we get down to these holes. And then once we get to the buttonholes, we're just going to do half double crochet in the buttonholes. So 2 half double crochet in each chain 2 space. So we're going to do that, and I will meet you back here. So we'll begin with a chain of 13 for the wings. And now double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. Double crochet in the next 2 chain. Half double crochet in the next 3. And single crochet in the next 3. 1, 2, and 3. And now in the very last chain, we're going to make a slip stitch. Now chain 13 again. Double crochet in the 4th chain from the hook. And the next 2 chain. And half double crochet in the next 3. And single crochet in the next 3. And then slip stitch in the last chain. And now we're just going to repeat that, starting from the chain of 13, 2 more times. Now we're just going to fasten off here. And you can just take these 2 tails and tie them together, and then weave in the ends with your tapestry needle. And there's the wings, and now we're going to do the body. So I'm just using one solid color for the tutorial, but to make your dragonfly, you want to use a different color for the body. And the pattern calls for the Colorfusion DK yarn to do that, and that's 1 skein, but it has different colors in the yarn, so you can pull from different sections. So we're starting the body with a chain of 17, and I'm going to slip stitch in the 2nd chain from the hook, and in the next 2 chains. And then single crochet in the next 5. And then in the last 8 chains, we're going to work a half double crochet. So half double crochet in the last 8 chains. Now we'll fasten off here. Just pull that loop through. And now I'm going to trim these 2 tail ends to make the little antenna. And now the body and the wings are ready to get seamed onto the cardigan.